Good afternoon. I'm Lorrie. I'm one of the group fitness instructors over in Del Webb, Sun City, and today I am bringing you a chair yoga sequence that I'd hope you participate in, enjoy. If you have never tried yoga, this is a great way to give it a start, give it a try, see what it's about. I want you to be comfortable, enjoy it, and we'll get started, okay? So behind me I have a chair. I have a few supplies, and I don't want you to think you necessarily have to have these for the practice. If you do, they're great, they're helpful. And if not, just kind of make do with what you do have. So the first prop essentially is your chair. The second prop that I do have is a set of blocks. Okay, you can substitute anything in your home that you have for those as well. I have a bolster behind me. That upright pillow is a bolster. I'll introduce that later on. And I have a strap. So when you see me refer to these items or grab these items, you know what they are now. And if you have something that matches, great. If you don't, make do with what you have or just use your own body as resistance. So first things first, I'm going to take my glasses off, set those aside. And I'm going to align my body. So I'm sitting right about the middle of the chair. I have the alignment of my hips, sits bones. Okay, that's the base, the pelvis. And I'm aligning my knees with my hips and my ankles right underneath my knees. So I have an advantage. I'm looking over at the camera and I can see my form. If you're not looking in a mirror, you just need to know what you're feeling. You want to feel balanced. And the next thing you want to do is create this pathway of breath. Now it's already there. All you have to do is kind of find your best posture. Nothing exaggerated, just very normal, very full. So I'm placing my hands in a receiving position, palms up. My collarbones are gradually finding a soft smile, and I'm gently pulling the spine upright. So the crown of the head is reaching away from the sits bones, the center, the base. And every space in between is your spine, the vertebrae. So I invite you to do the same. Just find that lift. Good. So there you have your alignment. That's key. The next element you want to tune into is your breath. I want you to start with an inhale at the nose, nice and full, no push, no force, no hold, and then gently exhale at the same speed through the nose. So just gently let that air fill you, and equally let it release. Now I want you to tune into that, how it feels. Perhaps even how it sounds. Notice the temperature. Perhaps you're finding it's a bit cooler on the inhale and your own body warms it up on the exhale. Very common. Now this is the leading tool of your practice. Your breath. Throughout the postures, and they are important, they're vital, but the breath always leads. If you're in a practice and you find you've lost your breath or you need to open your mouth quite a bit to get the air in and out, then you just need to slow the practice down, get back into the breath, and then let the asana follow. Now, every breath is finding a little bit more space within your body. You should be aware of that. It doesn't take long. And from here, we're going to introduce some movement. I want you to allow your right ear to just get kind of heavy towards your right shoulder, but not too much is going to change on your left shoulder. So you don't want to tug it down, nor do you want to hike it up. You just want to feel the weight of the head dropping towards the right. And then you take your right fingertips up towards your right temple, press your head to neutral, let your hand release back down, and then take that same head tilt to the left. It might feel a little different side to side. You're going to find throughout the practice that's common. So don't worry about it. Take several breaths. You should notice you feel a bit longer from the inside of your right ear down towards your right shoulder. And then I'm going to take the left fingertips, press that head back up to a neutral, release the left hand back down to the lap, still sitting nice and up, tall. I'm going to do the same thing, dropping the right ear heavy towards the right shoulder. Good. Now, I want you to follow your breath with some movement. As you inhale, let that chin get heavy and the crown of your head draws a semicircle until you align the left ear over the left shoulder, and then exhale. Try it again. Inhale, a nice gentle semicircle, nothing exaggerated, good. Exhale while you're there, and then move on the inhale. Now, that doesn't match right away, don't worry. Just flow through the movement. Move on a breath. And we'll take it back over to the left one more time. Good. Exhale on the left side. Take those left fingertips to the left temple, pressing that head up to neutral. Now keep letting it go up. I want you to think of your chin looking up towards the sky, and you're going to find a nice stretch on the front of your throat. Good. Now you may feel the need to part your lips while you're in this position. That's okay. Let it happen. Good. And then think of your chin as the director. Now it's going to become heavy towards your chest, towards your sternum. Finding a gentle stretch through the back of your neck. Good. Staying there a little bit longer now. You're probably looking at the crown of my head, so you're pointing yours towards me. I want you to flip your palms. Stay heavy with that head. No push, no force. Extend your arms long so your fingertips just graze over your knees. And if you feel there's some more room to be found in your body, try to extend your fingertips a little further, even if it doesn't feel they go anywhere, but the stretch intensifies a little bit. So you're getting a nice tug across the upper back. Good, we're not folding at the hips yet. This is just for the upper torso. Good. Okay, let the elbows soften, let the crown of the head rise up, but it's going to continue. Again, it's going to look upward, the chin upward towards the ceiling. Now I want you to bring your fingertips in and let the back of them just graze up the neck. So, gentle. Good. This is good for blood flow. It should feel good. So you're kind of skin brushing up in the upright direction to whatever amount of time is right for you. And then once you feel good with that, let the palms return back to the lap and you sit nice and tall. Good. Now, we're going to let those hands slide in. The arms are going to become heavy near the side body. Think of your arms just lining themselves up next to your rib cage. Remember again, no push, no force. It should feel natural, but it should feel good. It should feel aligned. Now, a sun salutation arm. As you inhale, you allow your arms to rise up. And as you exhale, allow them to float down. Again, the movement will be on the breath. So, inhale, they will rise up. And then exhale, they float down. And if you notice on that second run, my arms didn't go up quite as high because I moved on the breath. Inhale, they came up. And right about the time my exhale is ready is when I'm going to float them down. Now, if it feels good for full extension, yes, you could. If your shoulders don't dictate full extension, I want you to take it to where they're welcoming it in. Good. Now, on the next one, I want you to inhale and allow them to rise up. But as you exhale, turn your heart center to the right and then let your arms float down, trying to keep your hips and legs in the same place. So there was a turn right at the rib cage. Good. Try to remain smiling in those collarbones and your face as well if you can. All right, the shoulders are in alignment. Good. Now I gently place my left hand just to the outside of my right thigh. That helps. There's a tiny bit of leverage there. And if you do choose that, it may feel even just as good to take the vision off over that back shoulder. Good. Now if you did look off to the back corner, I want you to first align your nose with your heart. That protects your neck. Good. Soften the arms, release the twist gently, finding yourself right at the midline. Good. You may still feel as if you're twisting to the right. Don't worry, that will dissipate soon. Now, second side. We will inhale, let the arms rise up again. On your exhale, turn your heart center to the left. Let your arms drape down. So my right hand's coming down to the outside of my left thigh. I'm trying to keep a smile across my collarbones. So I use that so you understand the alignment you're looking for solely through what you're feeling. So if you feel a little hike up of that back shoulder, Draw it down some. Keep your breath flowing. The breath is really what works the twist here. And then if you can, if it feels right, I want you to take your vision off over your back shoulder. So you'd be looking over your left shoulder. Inhale, exhale. Good. And remember, come out as you came in. So first align your nose with your heart. And then softly release the twist. Finding yourself back at the midline. Good. Hands can remain on the lap right here. Remember again, they're just soft. There's no grip, there's no force, there's no push. The next move that we're going to bring in is a seated cat-cow. And that's a term that we use for warming up the spine. So as you inhale, I want you to think of your heart center coming forward. Not your head, your face. They will move alongside with it. But the direction comes from the midline, the spine. So inhale and come forward. Good. And you're creating a nice back bend. Now as you exhale, round, release the air. Good. Do that again. Inhale, forward. Exhale, release. Continue. Now my hands are resting on my lap. It's up to you where you choose them to be. If they're comfortable there, they could stay there. If that's not right for you and you prefer to leave them at the chair, you could do that as well. Mindful not to create a push out of the hands. You want the force of this, the power and the energy, to be coming from the midline, the thoracic area of your spine, the middle of you. Good. That's the part that you're warming up. Now the other parts of your spine are cooperating. Inhale, full, move. Good. Fill it up. Exhale, round, release, empty. Contract. Feel that contraction of your abdominal wall. Continue again. Inhale, forward. Exhale, release. Come back. Good. One more time. Inhale, forward. But this time I'm going to invite you to stay. So you're going to come forward. You have your heart center reaching forward. Your ankles are still directly behind your knees, underneath your knees. Slide your hands back if you can. Now I'm going to use that chair a little bit for some leverage here. My fingers just wrapping around the base. And that smile across my collarbones is getting bigger. And I'm pulling the crown of my head away from the tailbone. Good. A seated cobra pose. Nice, safe back bend. And we stay. During the stay, you breathe. You hold the posture, but you don't hold your breath. Good. Now the release is going to be a little different. I want you to reach through the crown of your head, so you're starting to find a 45-degree angle of your spine with your legs. The arms are going to come forward, and now a tip is going to happen at your hips. So you're kind of coming at this from the halfway point. Tipping is at the hips. Good. The hips are the fulcrum of your body. That's where you want to allow it to happen. And if you find your arms draping down feels good, or even a little drop to the head, feel free, do so. Now mindful of this. If you have any issues such as blood pressure and you know this isn't right for you, don't go that far. Okay? Just take it to where it's right for you. This is a seated forward fold. Good. Now on inhale, I'm going to rise all the way up. And then on exhale, I'm going to fold again, tipping from the hips. Again, inhale, rise. You should feel the core muscles working, rectus abdominis, your hips, gluteals, your legs to stabilize you. Everything's cooperating. Good. And again, fold. So we're folding on the exhale. And we're rising on the inhale. Do it again. Exhale. And then rise. And then resolve to stay right there. Good. And exhale. All right. Seated position still. We're going to do a little more work for our hips. I am probably at about 3/4 back in my chair. Okay. And I'm going to invite you to walk along with me, but we're walking on our hips here. Okay. So what I want you to do is one at a time, walk your hips. And if you can see, my feet are touching down on the floor. And just as my glutes come to the edge of the chair, not to the point that you feel you're going to fall off, that's when I want you to walk back. Good. And you can go all the way back. This is wonderful for your hip joint. Come forward again when you're ready. So I go back to the base of my chair. When I feel I arrive there, then I move forward again. Good. Just keep your breath steady. You really wouldn't be moving on your breath with this practice, with this movement. Good. And again. You may feel a little heat build up. Major muscles are working. That's common. And then walk it back again. Good. And then just choose to stay right in the middle. Good. Notice how that feels, a little bit warmer. All right, moving further down the legs now. I'm gonna move with this right leg first. All I'd like you to do is lift it off the floor. You're probably seeing about a 90-degree bend. Draw those shoulder blades back, keep the spine nice and long. Go ahead and extend the leg. Reach it towards me. Good. Exhale, bend. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. Good. Continue. Two more. Final time, right side. And then go ahead and let it come down nice and heavy. Good. Find your center point again. Notice how your right leg feels compared to your left. And then start that left side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend. So I'm pointing my toe. Inhale, bend it in. Exhale, extend it out. Good. Do it again. Keep going. Remember again, move on that breath. Okay? And if you find, well, you're moving on your exhales or your inhales differently than me, just move on your breath, okay? It's fine. And reach. Good. And extend and hold here. Sit nice and tall. Hold that left one just a little bit longer. Good. And then go ahead and lower it down. Okay. Scoot yourself a little more towards the front edge of your chair. Now we're going to do a little more, open the legs up a little bit, so a little bit more room is beneficial. Always be mindful though, you want to feel balanced. If you feel you've come too far in your chair, you have. Scoot back a bit. Okay, so I'm going to lift this right leg up again and find that same extension. Good, just going to open the hip a little bit. Open it out. Good. And then come back. And then open it out. Now your left leg is helping you to steady you. And come back. Good. And out. And back. And stay there this time. Good. Sit nice and tall. Flex the foot. Slip those right fingertips underneath. Bend that knee. Come on up. Good. Now you're going to bring your left hand in. You're going to grab that right ankle. And then set it over the left quad. Good. So just over that left knee so your right ankle, right foot have cleared that muscle, that joint. Centered. You can take your right fingertips, just rest them here, just like you're hanging a picture on a wall. They're just resting. Good. Now relax this leg. Just trust its own weight. That's going to open up your hip joint for you. Good. Tip forward a bit. If your body dictates, it's there. The stretch is welcomed in. Good. Seated pigeon pose, nice hip opener. And then if you want to enhance this for the ankles while you're here, you can take your hand, circle your ankle. Maybe you would prefer not to use your hand, circle your ankle. And when you do circle, make sure you go the opposite direction. Guesstimate about the same. When it feels right, it usually is. Good. Okay, sit nice and tall. You can go ahead and assist that leg off again. Let it close up to neutral. Hug it in a little tighter. Good. Sit nice and tall. Now, trust me on this. Drop it. I hope you heard it. I want you to do that again. Now that should not hurt. If you have any injury in your foot whatsoever, I don't want you to do this. But if you don't, it usually feels good. It's nice. It's good for the blood flow on the bottom of your feet. So again, all you're going to do is lift it up. Good. You're using the strength of your arms to hold it. Drop it down. One more time. Lift it up. And then drop it down. Good. Sit nice and tall. Still a little bit further into the front of your seat. Open hip, left side. So inhale up. Exhale, open. Sitting tall, good. Close. Open. And close. And open. Good. And continue. And one more time. This next time we're going to hold it, excuse me, in that open position. Sit nice and tall. Flex your foot. Feel every muscle in your leg working. Good. Slip your left fingertips underneath your left leg. Bend your left knee. Pull it in. Take your right hand back in the game. Reach it over. Take that left leg into supine pigeon. So I'm judging on what I'm feeling and a little bit of what I'm seeing. My alignment could be a bit better. So really it was what I felt with that right ankle. It needed to be centered underneath the knee. Setting that picture on the wall. That's the imagery I'd like you to use with your leg here. So don't push. Don't force it. This works. The weight of your own leg opens up your hip for you. If your body says there's more room, you're tipping. Good. Now I do my best to be looking at you, but if you do tip, try to keep your head in line with your spine. Mindful not to let that lift constantly happen. And as human beings, we tend to do that. We're very forward. The head, the face always goes first. Just be mindful with your practice. Good. And again, if you'd like some ankle movement here, you can do it with either your hand, circling the ankle. Whatever way you start your circle, you want to make sure you go the opposite direction. If you don't use your hand on your foot and you circle it all by itself, that works. Good. Allow it to find stillness. Sit nice and tall. Good. Now I want you to open up that leg again so you can assist, you can take it off, it goes out to extension, rebend, pull it in, hug it in. So this time I put my hands on front, either way, it doesn't really matter too much. I'm hugging it to really close up that hip joint. Okay, but the foot drop is coming back again, so I want to slide those fingertips underneath the knee, sit nice and tall, and then let the foot drop. Good. Not a lot of force. In fact, the legs should feel weightless. Don't put the muscle behind this, just let it drop down. Good. And again, drop down. Final time. Lift it up. And then drop down. Good. Nice. Now I'm going to invite you to turn in the chair with me. Okay, so the practice today will be, for the most part, seated. I'm going to just change my direction a little bit. This gives a little freedom to my legs. And the first thing I'm going to return to is that fold. And you can see it sideways now. Inhale, a nice long spine. Exhale, I'm going to tip forward. Good. I have a nice reach here, right out through my spine. Now my blocks happen to be here. I'm going to actually bring them into the practice right now, and I'm framing my feet with them. This just gives my hands a place to grab. It's essentially bringing the earth closer to you. So you can do the same if they have them in the practice. If your arms dangle, but you're still very strong in your spine, that works. Good. Now I'm going to take my hands up the legs. I'm going to slide my thumbs to my hip creases. Notice my fingertips are wrapping around my hips. Nice long spine. Press into that hip joint and sit up nice and tall, like you just anchored it down. Okay, now I'm going to scoot forward a little bit. So part of my hips are going to come off the chair. That's going to give one leg some freedom. And while I do that, I scooted back just a little bit. So I don't know if you can see it. The base of the chair is now just snug to my knee. Okay, and where I went with my back leg is where I'd like you to go as well. So I have my toes curled underneath. Good. And you can use your hands on the chair for support. That's the beauty of it. So you can have that back hand. You can have a bottom hand supported here. Good. I have a mild tuck at the pelvis. It's something that I know is there. You may not see it. And if you're doing it, I'm not seeing it on you, but you're feeling it. When you do that, you get a good stretch to the quadricep. Good. Nice. Now we're going to deliver a little power into that leg. We're going to ask a little more of it. So I'm going to transfer this hand down. Okay, it's still gripping on the chair, one on the side, one on the base. And then I'm going to extend that left leg a little bit. Good. So this is a runner's lunge position. You can keep your hands on the chair. I'm a little tempted to place my hands one on top of the other on my right thigh. You may do the same. I'm going to reach through that heel. Good. So this is a lunge position. I have power in the back and I have some resistance in the front from the legs. Good. And if you wish, if your practice dictates, float your arms up. Maybe just one arm. Maybe both. Maybe one hand, one arm would prefer to stay on the chair. You may do that. Good. So here's runner's lunge in the chair. Float the arms down gently. Good. They can grip onto the chair, soften at that knee. My fingertips are going to give a little snug pull and bring that leg back in, right at neutral. Good. I'm going to scoot myself back on the chair just a bit so both my hips find the base again. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Good. Rise up. Sitting tall. I'm going to spin to the other side. I invite you to come with me. Okay. Snug myself in, a nice base. I'm going to give my right leg a little bit of freedom now. Good. And again, I find that 9-degree bend in the right knee. Steadiness, the left ankle's underneath the left knee. Tall in the spine. The hands can use the chair as support. Good. Little tuck to the pelvis, just enough to present a stretch. Good. Keeping that spine nice and long. Now, we're going to lengthen that back leg. You can bring your hands to the chair to do so. Extend it back. Good. If it doesn't go back to where mine goes, go back to where it does go. Don't force anything into your practice. Again, your hands may stay on the chair, or you may choose, like me, to stack them on your left thigh. Good. Press through that back heel. If you wish, bring the arms up. And you can do one. Make sure you feel steady. You're going to feel powerful. I'm going to bring the other arm up as well. So you're going to feel yourself working some. It's not necessarily a movement. Okay, there's a steadiness to it, but there's work. Breathe. And then float those arms right back down. Good. You can let that knee soften, bring the leg back in, scoot yourself back into the chair. I want you to sit tall. Good. Instead of folding this time, I'm going to invite you to stand up with me. I'm going to take you behind the chair. Okay? Just go ahead and walk yourself behind your chair. I'm going to do a double duty of folding at the hips like we did in the chair and then stretching the shoulders some. So I'm pretty close to a wall right now, but I want you to be able to see me. So I'm going to scoot back as far as I can. Okay, if you don't have a wall, don't worry, you don't really need it for that. I want you to inhale, lengthen your spine, and as you exhale, tip forward at your hips. So my hands can stay right here at the chair. I'm going to keep my spine long. Maybe I'll transfer them down a little further into the chair. This presents a nice stretch to the back of the legs, the hamstring muscles. Good. And I have a high back chair, so I'm kind of stopping right here before my chin and my nose meet the chair too. And I just breathe. Good. Coming out as I came in, my hands are going to transfer back up to the top of the chair. I'm going to rise up, stand nice and tall. Good. I'm going to walk myself around the front side and have a seat in the chair again. So this was just a little bit of a mini practice here. We ran through the body top to bottom. Okay. I want you to find that same comfortable spot. And the next thing I want you to do is a pose known as Shavasana. Okay. I didn't describe too many poses today, but this is a really important one. And it's usually at the end of a practice, and it's a rest. It's a rest for the body and the mind. You don't have to stay long. I just invite you to find a quiet within your body, your mind, just for a few moments. Now you can bring in some things that might make that a little easier. Maybe you would stack your feet up on something such as the blocks, okay? Or if you had a pillow or a cushion or a bolster, it could rest across your lap, or a blanket or a towel across your shoulders. It's important that you are comfortable, that you are warm, and then it's dark a little bit too. So I don't want to go completely dark on you, but I am going to let my eyes close. I invite you to do the same. If you're not so comfortable with that, just keep the gaze over the tip of the nose. Good. Now the breathing pattern doesn't have to be something assigned. Just very natural. That's where closing the eyes helps. So you bring your body into a comfortable, relaxed place. And ideally your mind will follow. That may not be so easy, and it's understandable. Perhaps all you need to do is give it permission. Don't look to set a time limit to it. Just some permission. Maybe as the thoughts, the responsibilities come in, if they are, just acknowledge them without attaching. The ones that are very important are going to wait for you. They'll be there for you. Just consider this a little reset. Stay for a minute. And then once you feel you are ready to return, bring some movement back, a little wiggle to the fingers, the toes. Let the breath deepen. One more time. Inhale, find length into the spine, the arms soften down, the eyes can open, take in just some light. And on your next inhale, let your arms rise up. Exhale, lower them down. Again, inhale, allow them to rise. This time as you exhale, bring your palms together, pull them down gently, pass through the vision, hold at the heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.